It looks like Nindo called back, and it looks like the comments are exactly like last week. Let's do this really quick. Hey, Nindo, you're live with Eric and Rudy. How are you doing?
Yes. How you doing? I'm fine.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Quick. I said you said this quick. You think it's going to be quick?
Well, no, I just wanted to see if you're calling with the exact same things that you wanted to talk about last week. I don't want to, tread over the same territory. So if you are, what did you want to talk about?
It's kind of similar to last week. Last week you yelled at me first and hung up. I didn't do none of those things to you. So I just want to start off by saying that if you felt I disrespected you, I don't know how I did that.
Okay, I yelled at an idea. I was very, very clear about that. It's not you as a person, it's the idea. You need to separate yourself from that idea because you can change your mind.
Saying that. Yeah. You keep saying that, but I felt like I was yelled at as a person. But this show is contingent on theist callers. Don't you think you should give them a little more respect? If they stop calling, you'll have no show.
Well, Nindo, I watched that call, and there's a huge difference between the only difference between your call and other theist calls is the way that you have the conversation. Like, the hosts are generally consistent in the way they go about what they're going to do. If you've watched this show, the difference between the good calls and the bad calls are the caller. So if you are trying to have a productive conversation, it'll be productive.
I understand that, but you asked us to call in with our beliefs. These are things that mean something to us, and if we get made fun of because of it, it discourages us a little bit, and it's not good. It's not healthy for your show.
This is the show. I want to continue to grow it, but
okay.
I mean, if it hurts your feelings, right. I'm not going to be the arbiter of how you feel about it. So,
okay.
Did you want to talk about something this week?
Yeah. Can we talk about continue our discussion? The next topic I wanted to talk to pertaining to the design argument is probability. We never got to that. You hung up.
Let's first make sure. Did you read? Did you look and research? And did you check out other arguments from the other side to see what kind of validity and I mean, what did you do in the last week after our conversation?
I did a little more research, but everything you said, all your counter arguments that you brought up were false. Like, you used Occam's razor wrong, and you didn't know what I was talking about when I said appearance of design. You made a mistake on that.
No,
and there's a few mistakes.
Nindo, I cop to my mistakes as quickly as I can. And when I said I didn't want to talk about the argument of design or that way, I'll be super, super clear, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to say hold on. I don't want to say that the universe appears designed because it has a lot of loaded language. And I said that last week too, right?
What's so loaded about it? Appearance is not design.
I'll tell you. Because people tend to smuggle things in when it comes to that. So instead, I'd rather talk about what I see specifically. So,
okay.
So you agree that we don't believe that we live in a random universe, correct?
Random? No, not random.
Okay. I told you that if you're talking to us, the stand here, we don't think that this universe is random. Do you remember that?
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Yes. No, but I'm
okay. Were you listening or were you waiting for your turn to talk? Because honestly, man, if you're just waiting for your turn to talk, there are a whole lot of other theist callers who will actually listen and engage. And I really don't care if it hurts your feelings if you're just going to sit and wait your turn to talk.
No. I acknowledge you. You said it's not random. I forget. I don't remember every single word, but I do listen.
That's okay. The point there is, I said, if I drop something, it'll go down because I live in a universe where there's gravity, and that's how it works. It is not this blown out idea that it was created by a god or everything is random, which are things that you had thrown out several times. and I stopped. And if that happens again, I will see this conversation is absolutely pointless. So I want to make sure that we're on the same page here, Nindo.
Okay, we are. Can I ask you something specific? Okay, when you say it's not random, what do you mean by that specifically? Like,
Rudy, didn't I just say?
Yeah.
No. But what I mean is, is there like, what are you trying? Okay, if it's not random, do you believe that there's some like how do you believe everything contingent on something else? Like, what's your view on that?
I think that you're sort of let me make sure I understand what you're asking. Are you sort of saying, well, if it's not all random, but it's not designed, then what is it? Is that kind of what you're asking?
I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. You told me what you don't think it is. You don't think it's random. So what do you think it is, or do you don't know?
Okay, well, I guess that we should probably at least clarify, random is like a roll of the dice. It's just like there's infinite probability and whatever happens. That's random. There is physics make things in our world work a specific way. So it can't be random by nature of the fact that we have these laws, which is just our way of describing how the universe works, because it does appear to follow some rules. So it all works within a certain way. And we don't really have any way of knowing, if it's possible for the universe to not have those exact physics. If there is a universe where, everything is completely random, I don't know. But all I know is that within this universe, things, the way that things work together isn't just random. The Earth coming together, there were natural forces that made that happen, like gravity. Like it wasn't just like bing bang boom, the Earth is there. These things came together.
Okay, fair enough. But and also the fine tuning argument, I don't think you addressed it correctly last time, because I got a lot of comments and no one understood what I meant by fine tuning. The universe is not fine for us, but the Earth is.
Okay, so you're saying the universe was not fine-tuned, but the Earth is. Just
not for us, but the Earth specifically. The whole universe wasn't made for us. It's all fine-tuned, but the Earth. Because people kept saying in the comments, the universe is deadly to us. How is it fine-tuned? And that wasn't my argument. My argument is
Jupiter. Or was that another person last week?
No, you said it could be better because he could have put us on Jupiter, which is bigger. But if we are on Jupiter, you're going to say the same thing about Jupiter. Could be bigger. You're always moving the goalpost. You're never satisfied. So
well, sure, I'd be happy to describe this. There are a whole lot of things that are packed into the idea of God, and I am running on an assertion that you have some version of the Abrahamic God in your mind, right? No, maybe. Am I wrong?
Yeah, but I don't think we reached that point yet because, if a detective come across a dead body, is he automatically going to look for a suspect? You have to agree that there's a suspect to be looked for. It could be an accident. So we have to talk about a designer, a possibility of design. Then we try to identify that designer. I don't think we reached that point yet.
Okay, I'll follow you just so long as you understand that if we do get there, which is the same thing I said last week, there are some things that we could definitely say about a designer if they fit in this model. And so far, that designer does not give a crap about us.
We're alive, aren't we?
Some of us just barely.
Yeah,
some of us aren't.
Most of us are not anymore.
Yeah, of course. We're not. Yeah, we live. Death is part of life. It's a process. So
Why?
We are alive.
No, hold on. Do people die in heaven?
People don't die in heaven.
Okay, so then that was a stupid point.
How is it a stupid point? There is no life on Jupiter, as we know, right? But there is life on Earth. So that's fine too.
Nindo, I brought up heaven because you have a place where you believe that everybody lives forever. And so the idea that people die is, you said, well, death just happens. Well, obviously it doesn't where you think you're going. So no.
Okay, whether we die or not, or we live forever or not, this earth is tuned for life to exist, whether it's for 1 minute or 80 years. You agree on that, right? We can agree that life exists here.
It is not tuned. We are tuned, Nindo. We are the ones who have adapted. That's why it's there. It's the other way around. You have it on its head. We adapted to the planet that we're on, which is why we are the way that we are. Not.
How could we adapt if we don't exist? How can we adapt if we never existed?
Why don't you stay on the point? And because you're going way off in a different direction. We'll follow you, fine, but let's finish this. Do you understand that we evolved as a species over millions and millions of years?
Yes, I believe evolution.
Awesome. That evolution came from us adapting to our environment, not the environment changing to suit us. So no, I entirely disagree with your statement that this planet was fine-tuned for us.
For life.
No, you said us. If you want to change the subject, we can. But don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say life. You didn't say life. We were both talking about us.
Okay, I'm putting words in my mouth. I say specifically life. I'm sorry if I...
That's okay. Let's just make sure we're on the same topic here. You understand that life evolves to suit its environment. We see that in evolution, right? Those that do not adapt to their environment die. If we lived on a planet that was fine-tuned for that life to be alive, we wouldn't be needing to do that.
Okay.
So no.
Okay.
Cool.
Are you all right? But in order for evolution to happen, in order for adaptation to happen, there has to be a starter point. There has to be equipped for that to happen.
Nindo, can I ask you a question real quick? If I think I see where you're going with this, and you're going to say that, you know, that starting point had to come from somewhere. Let's say God did it. Okay. Why did God not just make this first creature to just be us or be whatever is around right now? Why go through the millions of years of evolution and having, you know, thousands of species come into existence and then die off and come into existence and then die? Like, what is the point of that? Why the adaptation? Why all the changes? If it was just meant to bring us here, why not start off that way?
Well, I don't think it's correct to ask why, because if it was another way, what's to stop you from asking why? In that sense, you know, say we live forever. What's the point? Then you'll ask, okay, why do we live forever? There's always a why, but that's not my point. My point is
the reason we're asking why is because you're making this claim about the Abrahamic God, who, you know, by most of those Abrahamic religions is regarded as perfect and all-knowing. So in order to refute that claim, we're asking, yeah, but does this even make sense? Why would you do that? If it doesn't make sense, that doesn't really fit with the picture of God you're trying to paint.
No, wrong. If it doesn't make sense to you or to somebody, that doesn't mean it's not true. It doesn't mean there's not a plan.
You're right. My personal incredulity would not counter that, but then why would God make us so that we wouldn't be able to understand on purpose?
You say, why would God? Those questions come later. We have to agree that I'm trying to prove that there is a God.
And I'm trying to say the God that you're proposing wouldn't make sense based on these things.
If if we want to talk about a distant, non-interventionist, has nothing to do with us, kind of just deity out there, sure. But we're going to follow so long as we both understand that we've already made some pretty strong conclusions about some of the characteristics of that God, if it existed. All of those being ones that refute one that you ultimately believe in. So if we pull you out of your Abrahamic faith and into deism, I'll take that as a step forward.
Okay, have you ever heard of astrophysicist Eric Zach Russo?
The name does not come to mind.
Okay. Anyway, he's from Uppsala University in Sweden. He predicted the probability for this Earth to exist the way it does is 1 in 70 quintillion. That's 7 with 20 zeros.
Okay. Do big numbers make things more compelling to you, Nindo?
No. It's just probability. It makes things less probable.
Okay.
Well, actually, you know what the probability of us being here is right now?
Yes, 1 in 70 quintillion, according to this guy.
One. One.
No, it's not 1.
Yes, it is, because we're here, isn't it?
Oh.
And what's your sample size, Nindo? 1. So 1 out of 1 times, we're here. The rest?
I knew you were going to say that. Because you can only roll the dice once, right?
No, well, I mean, do you think that your God had just kind of pooped out after the first? I mean, if you're talking about the odds of a universe existing, then that has to be contingent on the idea that you're rolling the dice enough times to get the odds. Because if you're not doing that, then what the hell are you talking about? We're meeting you where you're at just so we can tell you that even where you are, you're wrong.
I don't think you understand probability then. Okay, we know the probability?
I don't think you're listening at this point. Nindo?
No, I do. You said it's one roll, right? It's not just one roll.
How many universes are we in? One.
Yeah, but
how much access do we have to other universes?
You're not understanding.
One.
You're not understanding what probability is. That's not how you get the probability. You think mathematicians sit there and roll the dice 600 times, 1,000 times to determine the probability of that? No one sits there and rolls dice all day. The probability is determined by examining those dice, the sides of it.
I agree. Nindo, I entirely agree.
Yeah, we could do the same thing.
Examine other universes.
With Earth.
Can we examine other universes?
No, it's one universe.
Exactly.
So we're rolling with a one-sided die.
Yeah.
No, we're not. We're rolling with, say, 6 or 7 die. Each of those dice represents something in the universe.
Where are the other 6 or 7?
What? No, each of those dice represents something in the universe. It's more than one die, one roll.
Yeah, I think you should watch this back. And take a good look. If you want to call in about another subject, that's fine. But saying you don't understand me when we disagree with you, that is just not compelling at all. Sorry, buddy.
Okay, but you said you care about truth, right? No, but you said you care about truth. What's your famous phrase? I want to believe as many true things and a few false things as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you say that more than once. But
and let me tell you, man.
I don't believe you do.
I'm a skeptic. As a skeptic, I apply this methodology that is so upsetting to you to everything I can. I apply it to the way I look at foods in my diet. I apply it to the way that I understand and engage with other people. I apply it to the way I look at history. I apply it to the way I look at medicine. And every step along the way, I want to make sure that I'm testing those things that I understand to find out if I'm online with things. Truth, right? That which corresponds to reality. If we keep asking ourselves in that way, in that Socratic way, then hopefully we can catch ourselves when we fall into some really bad practices. I do that to everything, including this. And this argument that you have is one that just does not stand up. It doesn't stand up for all of the reasons we brought up. And it's not because we don't want it to, Nindo. It's because we want to be just as clear, just as concise, and be just as rigorous with the God claim as it is with any other claim that we come across. It's called being a skeptic.
Okay, can I say one thing? I've been watching this show.
It'll probably be the last one.
Okay, just give me a few seconds. I've been watching the show, and I believe there's a bias here. I'm going to explain myself. I believe you don't really care about the truth like you think, like you say you do. And I'll tell you why. Can I tell you why?
Please, and go ahead.
Okay. I'll prove to you why. I'm going to ask you one question. And if you can answer this honestly, it's a demonstrable question, then I really believe you do care about the truth. And you're not just trying to push what you feel. Okay, so it's about truth, not feeling, right? So can I ask you one simple question? 5 seconds.
Sure.
Okay. Answer this honestly. According to science, the demonstrable science, what we know right now about biology and science, how many genders are there?
Okay.
A lot.
So
how many genders are there? That's an easy question. Genders, last second. How many?
I got you.
Easy question. It's
Nindo.
easy, demonstrable. How many?
Nindo.
No, it's easy. It's
Nindo, how can I answer you if you won't shut up?
Okay.
Please, let me answer you.
Okay.
If you want to talk about sex, we can talk about biology. But if you want to talk about gender, you need to talk about the society, the culture that we're in. And each of those cultures has a different way that they treat people on their biology. So if you want to say, you know, that gender is something scientific, dude, you're in the wrong class. If you
anything
want
other than two,
listen, Nindo, if you want to learn about sex, if you want to learn about primary and secondary sex characteristics, take a biology class. If you
anything
want to
other than two is the wrong answer.
Biology class.
Anything other than two is the wrong answer.
Yeah, you're not listening.
That's bias.
Anything else,
That's
Rudy?
Bias. You're not listening. And I don't care what the comments
I totally
say.
zoned out for the past, like when the word gender left his mouth, I disassociated fully.
He's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. That idea is one that
honestly, whenever I hear someone say, "Okay, but how many genders are there?" I'm like, all right, so I don't have to take you seriously anymore. I already know where this is going.
Well, I mean, we can talk about primary and secondary sex characteristics. We can talk about the way that our bodies distribute fat. We can talk about all of those kinds of things. We can talk about gametes, but who cares? The only time I want to care about what's in a person's pants is if I want to know what's in their pants.
Right.
Otherwise, how about we focus on the way we want to treat each other?
Yeah. You know, the funny thing is, him bringing that up as far as relating to your skepticism is kind of funny, because that is also a question that makes me think of skepticism, in the sense that your intuitive answer will always be 2. That's people's intuitive answer. But if they are actually open to finding out the truth, even if it does not agree with their intuition, then they will be open to, oh, okay, but there's more research that contradicts what I already think. Oh, okay, well, these animals have this and we have that, and the difference between the biology and the social aspects, all of that is a factor. And if you just want to boil it down to a very, very basic understanding, you can say 2, but you would be wrong. And it's just such an obvious demonstration of somebody who hasn't done research, but has done just enough that they're sticking with those facts and are just going to say, no, anything outside of that is wrong. That to me is like the hallmark of someone who is not a skeptic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it takes how long does it take to have a conversation about that? How long does it take to look at any of the mountains of conversations people have had and gone, hey, you know what? People treat each other differently and ascribe different things to genders in cultures it's just
it's so much more complex than that. And if you're not willing to look into it more, then that tells you everything you need to know about how that conversation is going to go.
Agreed.